Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation. My name is Oliver Solcher. I'm the manager of the Association in Airtightness in Buildings in Germany. And I shall give you a short overview, as I did it in Build Air, what's going on in Germany. It will be like a flight over what's going on. So I start with the Building Energy Act. That has not been changed, not yet. We all wait on it. As you might heard, we had a change in government 25, and we all wait on the new positions. But what I feel is that in airtightness, there won't be any changes. What you see is that we have a distinction between the airtightness that has to be achieved while building a building, and that is mandatory. You need to build airtight, but it is not mandatory to test. If you test, you can use that figure in calculating the primary energy demand of the building. The benchmarks that you need to achieve are distinct as we discussed before, the QE50 and the NL50. Smaller buildings are easier. No, it's easier to achieve a good NL50 or N50 value in large buildings. So the benchmarks for buildings with an internal volume of larger than 1,500 cubic meters, it's a QE50, so it's the leakage flow divided by the surface of the building, and we differentiate between buildings without mechanical ventilation and with mechanical ventilation. With mechanical ventilation, the benchmarks are a little higher. And smaller buildings below 1,500 cubic meter, you have a benchmarks in the NL50 value. Why don't we have the N50 value? Because we have a different internal volume. In our national annex, we define that our internal volume does not include the building construction. And what's kind of sad is that we have no requirements regarding airtightness in refurbishment. We have federal funding, and the federal funding also does not make an airtightness as mandatory, just if it is used in the EP calculation or if you want to build in a certain energy efficiency class, like with renewable energy. But the airtight design is mandatory. You need to design the building airtight, and the energy consultant must give an airtightness concept regarding that airtightness. And also a task for the energy consultant, there needs to be an evidence of the airtight execution. We had a coalition agreement in 2025. So, as I said, we wait for a new government. And so I quote from that agreement. We continue to promote energy efficient construction and refurbishment. As we all know, the energy savings are in the refurbishment, not in the new buildings. We will not tighten the current regulatory requirements and will evaluate their effects. This is something, looking on EPBD, something that concerns me. And we will continue to support new technologies for even greater energy efficiency in buildings. And we will continue and bundle state funding for energy counseling in the building sector, like energy consultants. The picture that you see is the refurbishment that has been brought from an NL50 of 13 just by refurbishing the roof on an NL50 of 2.2. So you see what there is in refurbishment. Airtightness concept has a known standard. In April 26, we will have the new DIN 4108-7, and there we introduce what an airtightness concept is. You need to have the airtightness layer. You have a rough description of the points that needs to be designed in a certain way later on. The materials need to be mentioned. And what's pretty important for me is you need to, if planned, yeah, you need to define the quality assurance measures. And so you have, with that standard, we have a quotable airtightness concept. As you have seen, it is mandatory in our funding programs. And of course, the standard gives further information and planning on airtightness, airtight materials, and yeah, it's just a short introduction on that standard. Also in 26, the WTA guidelines have been published dealing with airtightness in existing buildings. How do we deal with that? We have three parts: the general principles of planning, detailed planning and execution, and the measuring procedure. And this is something, as you see, it's one goal of the Flib. Yeah, that it's not just one test. Yeah, and if you just measure at the end, you cannot improve. It's just, yeah, it's a measuring result that you put in the EP calculation. Sorry, but the goal should be to make the building better, make the airtightness layer of the building better. So it is to evaluate the building is a test before refurbishment has been introduced. Then during refurbishment, that's for me the most important test. And after refurbishment, to get a value for NL50 or QE50. And the goals of the Flib: support airtightness testers, planners, and craftsmen. Main focus on roof refurbishment. Yeah, we try to introduce the airtightness as it is questioned in Germany, yeah, and we choose a trade where airtightness cannot be questioned, yeah. And if you renovate a roof, if you put insulation in, airtightness is out of question. So you have a good example that trades need to work together in order to achieve a good result. And airtightness is obligatory, is mandatory, yeah, in order, well, moisture rises in the building, so the moisture will go through leaks in the roof, and you of course have many ducts going through the airtightness layer. We work with workshops to introduce that, yeah, and especially regarding energy consultants and craftsmen, and to achieve, the goal is that we have a planned airtightness of the building, not just the material, but the details, as you see at this side. You have smoke coming out. The roof is great, yeah. Roof's great. You see it here, but the connection to the outside wall still a leak. Yeah, we want to have the airtightness measurement during construction as a mandatory thing. And so you see here our goals. And if you want to learn more about leaks, I have here a link on a research report. It's a little old, but still valid. Don't be confused with the date. So thank you very much.